friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's going to be a whip and chat. I'm going to work on my coop sweet coop for a little bit and chit chat with you about what's been going on in my life, and you know, hopefully you'll tell me in the description down below what's been going on with yours. Okay, let me turn my light on so I can see a little bit. I've got a couple colors picked out. As you can see, it's coop sweet coop that I'm working on by contracted, yeah. Licensed with the artist Larry Jones. I guess Creative Connection Incorporated is maybe his business, or who they go through to license. I don't know. I don't know the technicalities of licensing artwork. I just know it's important. I've met a couple artists and talked to a couple artists, either face to face or through emails, and it's just, after talking to them, it kind of, I don't know, it brings it home to me, because, you know, this is their livelihood. They paint these pictures for our enjoyment, yes, but, you know, they do need to get paid for their work. You know, I totally believe that. They need to get paid for their work. And they do beautiful work, most of them, you know, the ones I follow anyway. I mean, there's tons of artists out there. I don't follow everybody. There's way too many. But I have, you know, Diamond Art has really opened my eyes to the art world. So thank you for that, Diamond Art Club. I appreciate it. I appreciate your artwork, and thank you for the artist, especially the ones I love. Everyone has different taste, and Diamond Art has probably something for everyone. You know, whether you're a man, a woman, you know, I wouldn't say a monkey, but you know, monkeys could probably diamond paint. But you know, there's topics there for everybody, or topics, you know, pictures, you know, topics of pictures. I don't, words are not my thing today, y'all. Overlook me. Okay, I'm trying to. Goodness, so let's get started. Let's work on some of these white edges right through here, and I'll tell you about what's been going on in my world over the last couple days, because it's been a couple days. Hubby's, this is my last day to do any filming, because hubby will be here tomorrow, and yeah, I just need to get some stuff done. I'm leaving Tuesday to go help a friend, so yeah, it's time to get some stuff done so I can, you know, you'll have stuff to watch. Okay. So, I just mentioned that I'm going to be leaving. I'm not going to be going far. It's just like a couple cities over. I'm going to be, you know how I've told you I house set some Tweenies? Yeah, I'm going to do that again while they go out of town. And, yeah. That's when I'm going to be. I have to stay over there for about a week. And, I mean, I get to come home a little bit to let Mojo out and whatnot. But, so that's when I'll probably throw my videos up. I'll record them today and hopefully edit them today. And I don't do much editing, though. And, hopefully program them to launch on certain days. I don't know. Haven't figured that out yet. Still work in progress. I'm still new to this YouTube-y stuff. I haven't figured out every little bell and whistle. So forgive me. Where are my manners? Go get you something to drink. Get you something to eat. Bring out what you're working on. Work along with me. While I do my thing, you can do your thing. Whether it be diamond painting, coloring, sewing. You know, maybe you're cleaning house. You know, maybe I can be a distraction for however long I'm making this video. So, with that being said, how was my weekend? Or my last couple of days anyway. It was good. Hubby is off Thursday and Friday, and so that's kind of our time to go do errands that I might need help with, because, you know, I'm stuck here at the house and I can't do a lot being disabled, but I try. I try. And sometimes I just need his help with running an errand or two. And so we did that Thursday. And then Friday we went to a festival, which I'd been wanting to go to for a couple years. And we finally made it up there to see it. And it was wonderful. And let me tell you about it. Let me get a swig of my Pepsi. And I'll tell you all about it because it's kind of fun. Okay, so Friday we went up to a nearby, well, it's not a nearby city, it's about a 2 hour drive. And I don't do car rides very well because I'm, you know, in bad shape and my health isn't the best and Quincy's isn't the best, so we had to make several stops along the way. So we get out and we start our journey, right? And I had about half a tank of gas in my car. And so we get, maybe about halfway there. And he decides, he's like, hey, you're getting low on gas. We'll pull over and put gas in the car. I'm like, all right, well, we started up awfully early to get here. I'll splurge for us some coffee or a soda, whatever you want to drink. If you want to drink, I'll get a drink. And he's like, all right, cool. So we go in there, pick out our drinks, gas up the vehicle, yada yada. Typical convenience store stuff, right? And so I chose, they had the Falls drinks out, and one of the choices was creamy caramel cappuccino. And is my foot a good pillow? Okay. I cannot move. My dog is on my shoe. My dog is going to sleep on my shoe. I dare not move. Okay, good thing I have a soda by me. But anyway, so after the caramel cappuccino and whatever, I think Quincy just got a regular house coffee, but whatever he chose, it was a cup of coffee of something. And we get back on the road and we're sitting there. The festival we were going to, and we actually made it there. It was very tiring, but we made it to the Wilders Fest in Marshfield, Missouri. And like I said, it's about a 2 hour trip for us from where we're at. Pretty long. I can, usually make it to the big city an hour, and then I start feeling it. So, about an hour in, I was pretty well feeling it. And so then we had to do a lot of walking, and I'm like, oh goodness, I just, I don't know about this. So we walked through the Little House on the Prairie Museum. It's the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum. She was a author back before my day. She died in 57, I think, and I was not alive in 57. My parents were going through college at the time. Okay, well, my dad was. Mom never made it to college, but Dad was going through college, and so I didn't come along till like the 70s. So yeah, 70s rock. 70s and 80s were my jam. But yeah, we went to this museum that was about Laura Ingalls and her authoring those series of the Little House on the Prairie books. If you watch the Little House on the Prairie TV show, the movies pretty much were, or the TV show was about like the books. They just made them into TV shows. And it really was kind of about her life, because through the museum I got to learn a lot about her. I mean, granted it was crowded, so I didn't get to see every exhibit, but I did get to see a lot of them. And they told us, yeah, we could take pictures, just take the flash off. Don't touch everything. There's certain areas you can and can't touch. And of course, no one wants fingerprints on something 100 years from now, so, But it was really interesting reading the deals about Miss Laura and her family. There really was a Ma and Pa Carolyn. There really was Pa's fiddle. I got to see Pa's fiddle and got to hear a recording of what it sounded like. They didn't get it out and play it, but it is there for you to look at. It's in a case, of course, but it was really, really kind of cool, and they have a recording there where you can hear it, and it was just like, oh, it sounds so good for being a 100-plus-year-old instrument. And it was just, it was nice. I never realized, I thought, okay, she just wrote the books. Maybe she just made this stuff up. No. She really lived it. There was actually, I was reading a thing on the wall about a place she had lived, and I don't remember which one it was, but there was really a Nellie Olson. It wasn't, I mean, her real name wasn't, it was Nellie, but the last name was different. And, yeah, it was just like, oh my god, there really was a Nellie Olson, and there really was, you know, a Mr. Edwards, and there really was, you know. And we went to the cemetery to see where Laura and her husband Almanzo were actually buried, the real ones. And we had visited the two houses. The one house was off for lunch break, and we caught some what do you call it? Locals that had said, yeah, she just went to lunch. It's not open yet. She'll be back. I'm like, oh yeah, the people at the museum did tell us that. You know, and so we went to lunch. We're like, hey, well, you know, it is being lunchtime. It is kind of lunchtime, and you know, I asked them, I was like, are you a local? And they're like, yes. I was like, well, great. Where's a good place to eat? Because we're not locals, and we're, you know, it's lunchtime. Let's go get some lunch. And they're like, well, what kind of stuff do you want? I was like, oh, burgers, pasta, pizza. And they're like, okay, there's a wonderful little Italian place for pasta right down the road. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now the people, and so we went down there, and you know, we placed an order. Quincy's got a couple of specials for us, and it was really good. It was like Alfredo and pesto mixed sauce. Oh my god, that stuff was good. I love both of those sauces, and they just, oh, they tasted so good blended together. So anyway, we were sitting there looking through our pamphlets, talking about the museum and the one house that we had been able to go in, and what we thought about we saw pamphlets to the other house, but we hadn't been in it yet. And the people at the museum told us that they had a speaker there in town somewhere, and that, you know, he was roaming the town and sightseeing and whatnot, and, you know, doing his thing. And I'm like, okay, cool, who is it? You know, I'm thinking, okay, was it someone, you know? And they're like, oh, well, he actually acted on the show. And I'm like, oh, an actor? I was like, one, they're still alive. There's some still alive, 'cause, you know, I'm in my mid-50s, and you know, so they're like, yeah, there's a few of them that are still alive. And so anyway, I asked him, I was like, okay, well, who is it? You know, I'm like, please be one I knew, please be. And it turns out it was the actor that played Almanzo, which was, his real name is Dean Butler. And he's actually gone on to do some producing. He did acting, he did producing, and now he's an author of a book or two. Which, no, I did not get, but I should have, because he was there in the restaurant. And he was eating lunch, but, you know, I should have. We had just come from the museum, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I was looking at the pamphlet for the events, and they were, you know, mentioning that they had the speaker, and I looked at the picture, and I just happened to look up past the waitress that was just bringing my food, and I was just like, I saw him sitting there, I'm like, no, that don't happen with me. And I went back to my food, and Quincy's like, he noticed my reaction, he's like, what is it? And I'm like, nothing. He's like, no, what just happened? I was like, don't look now, but I think Almanzo is sitting behind you. And he's like, what? And Quincy doesn't like people being behind him. You know, he has that thing from the war. He just doesn't like people being behind him. And so he was like, he couldn't turn. They were in pretty good sized booths. And we were in pretty good sized booths, and he couldn't turn around. And I guess Mr. Butler had heard that, because as he was, him and his family or friends, I'm not sure which, there was 4 of them all together in the group, and then him, and our booth was on the way out, and so he came over. He came over, and he was like, I was sitting there looking at the I was like, no, I was like, that's him. I tell you, that's him. I was talking to Quincy, and he came over. He's like, hey, I hear you guys are here for the festival. And I'm like, Mr. Butler, is that really you? He's like, yes, yes it is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. And I was like, thank you for Almanzo. And he's like, oh, you're welcome. Did you grow up watching the show? I'm like, yes, I did. Yes, I did. And so yeah, they were gonna go on and do their thing, and he invited me to the books. I'm like, we're getting ready to head out of town now after we see the Rock House, and it's like we got one more little house to see, and they were closed for lunch. And he's like, oh yeah, we saw that one earlier. And I was just like, man, that's so cool, you know. And then he's like, well, I gotta get, thanks for being a fan or something like that. I'm like, oh, he said hi to me. Y'all, I'm such an introvert, okay? I could have easily gone out of my booth and gone and talked to him, maybe got a picture with him, but I am just such an introvert. I just stayed there. Quincy's like, you should have talked to him more. I'm like, he was going out the door with his family or friends. I didn't want to interrupt him, you know. Just because someone's halfway famous or written a book doesn't mean you go up and bother them. Besides, I'm very shy. I see someone like that, and it was just like, yeah. I need to quit meeting famous people because I just kind of get tongue-tied and go, yeah, okay. I get so nervous. I still think about when I first got to meet Richard Lorenz, and I was like, no way. And he introduced himself as Rick, so I didn't put Rick and Richard together. And I was just like, no. We were, you know, I've told you the story that we were in Arkansas looking for blueberries at Farmer's Market, because Missouri's, they were a little bit later. And plus we're from Arkansas, so we got to see family and friends, and yeah, ran smack into, you know, and Quincy saw the artwork first, and he's like, he doesn't know artists as well as I do. Of course, I didn't even know what Mr. Lorenz looked like. And so, it was just kind of funny that, you know, I was over there across the way looking at landscapes from another artist, and Quincy called me over and he's like, hey, come over here and look at this guy over here has owls and birds. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and I immediately think of Mr. Lorenz's paintings, and then I turn the corner, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. And of course Quincy and Mr. Lorenz had already talked, and so he knew I was fixing to meet, he knew he was fixing to meet a fan, and I was like, I did not. I was so ill prepared that it was not funny. And so I'm walking, you know, walk around the corner that Quincy, you know, he's like, hey, come here. I'm like, okay. I was like, what have you found that you want me to look at? And he's like, look at all these pictures of these crazy birds. It's about like the style that you like in your diamond painting. And I looked at them, and I think Quincy knew what they were. Obviously he did, because, you know, he pretty much set me up. And yeah, I got to meet Mr. Lorenz. And so here comes, you know, and Quincy I was looking down at a painting, and he saw Mr. Lorenz coming over, and he's like, get ready, your dream is about to come true. And I'm like, what? And I looked up, and the artist is coming I was like, oh, hey, hi. And he hands me a little bookmark or whatnot. He's like, hey, are you familiar with my artwork? And I was like, maybe, it looks kind of familiar. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm like, what's your name anyway? And he's like, Rick Lorenz. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, you're not any relation to a Richard Lorenz, are you? And he's like, yep, that's me. And I'm like, huh? Wait, you just said your name was Rick. He's like, yeah, short for Richard. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I looked at Quincy, I looked back at him, and I thought I was going to faint. I was like, do you know how many of your paintings I have as Diamond Art Clubs? He's like, oh, you're a Diamond daughter. That's sweet. And we got talking about his artwork. He showed me through the little makeshift gallery that he had, and told me the new ones, showed me the new ones, and I got a couple prints off of him, and it was just like, oh my gosh, did I really just meet him? I am the world's worst with meeting someone, especially if they're famous or I think I know them or something like that. I mean, let me know down below, how would you handle meeting someone famous like that? I don't do a very good job. I just don't do a very good job at all. Especially after my illness, I just tend to make a big goofball of myself. And it was a good festival. We walked around through. There was a lot of walking, like I said, craft fairs and whatnot. And they had everything decorated out so pretty. There was an old-timey ice cream shop right there off the square that we stopped and had some ice cream, a cup of ice cream there, and was walking around at the festival looking at all the pretty things. And you know, it was really neat. It was really nice to have that time to enjoy each other's company, because usually Quincy's working, you know, all these days. He doesn't have hardly any time off, and when he does, all he does is sit in his chair and relax. I get that, but there's times I want to go do stuff. And so Quincy told me the next couple weeks we were going to go back to Arkansas to Boxley Valley and see the elk. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go see elk or not. You know, because of my memory issues, I don't remember everything that happened in our previous. We've been married for like 25 years. I got sick like 7 years ago. My memory got wiped because of a fever. So there's a lot that I don't remember. So we're trying to do things over again and make new memories and whatnot. And it's just, it's like some of the stuff, you know, I don't remember going to the Little House on the Prairie Museum. He swears up and down, and obviously I did because I have the books, and I didn't remember it. And yeah, it's like, wow. I hope I remember the good stuff. I hope I'm able to hang on to it, like meeting authors and artists and having fun. I want good memories for the rest of my life. I think anyone would. But now, time to share. What's been going on with you? What are you working on? Are you working on any diamond painting along things? I'm kind of in between. Well, I mean, I'm still doing my beef, frankly, but right now I'm still working on my chicken. I just don't want to do Halloween right now, but I'm fixing to go over to my friend's here next day or two, like I said, puppy sitting. I'll probably be taking my chicken one with me and my Halloween one and just kind of working on both. In between cuddling the dog and walking the dogs and you know, that kind of stuff. Trying to catch all the pee because the one likes to pee in the house all the time. I don't know. But yeah. Yay. That's what I got planned. What do you have planned? Let me get another drink. Oh, I've got all these videos. I might go through another Pepsi before I get done. You know, this milk can makes me think of my mom. She had one about like this, decorated out with flowers. Oh, goodness. So is it fall where you're at? Are you seeing lots of pretty colors? Ours is really not that pretty yet. The trees are just starting to get yellow leaves. Oh, I was really hoping when we went down to Further, Missouri, the 2-hour trip the other day, that we'd see some more color and get some more pictures of pretty leaves, but they're about the same as it is up here. Nothing really has changed yet. I think we're going to go straight from fall into probably winter and not see pretty leaves. The way it keeps going. But anyway, I'm kind of out of things to talk about. That's about all I've been doing. All the stuff I've been doing here lately. I've been doing more coloring. I need to update my coloring video for you before I run off. And there's been lots of, I've just been doing normal stuff. Nothing that I really think is super duper, I don't know, material worthy per se. Not so much super funny stories. I need to get on the computer and for the next episode do a chicken trivia. I promised you on that one. I need to get with that and do the chicken trivia for the next one. So stay tuned for the next one. I'll hunt up chicken trivia and do that one for our next whip and chat for the Coop Sweet Coop event. It's not really an event, it's just one I'm working on. One of the people in the group wanted me to work on it, so I was like, hey, I just finished Scooby-Doo. I was like, I could work on it a little bit before Be Frosty, and now it looks like Be Frosty's gonna get canceled, so yeah, it sucks. I got all my stuff, enhancements and stuff for the Be Frosty kit, and now, but yeah. One of my friends, more than one of my friends, are having issues that need prayer. One is in a bad marriage, and one's just had surgery for cancer, and they're trying to let her heal up before they start the chemo radiation part of it. So yeah, I've got a lot of friends going through it right now, so you know. And then tonight I'm going to go to another friend's church and listen to some good old gospel music. It's the old Southern style gospel music, you know. And they do that on the 5th Sunday of the month, when there's a 5th Sunday in the month, and they just do, you know, take a break and do gospel music, which is cool. I love gospel music. And so I'll probably go up there tonight. I need to figure out what I'm going to make for supper in the meantime. And get that going. I'll probably just do grilled chicken and vegetables. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh, goodness. Maybe I need a nap. Pepsi's not working, y'all. But anyway, thanks for coming. Thanks for visiting. I'm sorry it's a short one. Maybe I'll have more stories and more stuff for next time, okay? You got to see a little update of, I almost got the can done. See? The little milk can in the corner. Yay! Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for visiting. Bye.